Hello, everybody. You were very welcome to Successful Perspectives. Successful Perspectives, of course, is when we deep dive into the topic of leadership with one of our members from a very selective and influential network, Boardroom by EMIR. And for this chat, I am delighted to be joined by Waleed Isaac, the COO for Loxam Middle East. Waleed, it's great to have you on Successful Perspectives, and thank you for joining me.
Frank, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Great to talk again.
Loxam, Europe's largest infrastructure and service provider. And within the group, I know there is Rapid Access, which is the largest powered access provider in the Middle East. You're present in over 35 countries across your region and employing over 30,000 people. And as I've gotten to know you and your very impressive journey over the last few years, I've been looking forward to this conversation, our conversation, to learn more about your leadership style and principles. So let's start by maybe going back a little bit in time and thinking about your leadership. What core principles define your approach to leadership?
Frank, thank you so much for having me here. Look, for me, leadership is about the messaging and the clarity. So for me, the core principles are clarity, consistency, and authenticity in the message itself. Because once you have that clarity and that authenticity, the team would have the predictability of what you're expecting of them and what your expectations are. And then the second part of it is being able to build a strong, coherent team that can deliver on those expectations. And predictability and delivery are the key thing to be able to succeed as a leader in the Middle East and any other part of the world.
I agree, but how have these principles directed your leadership at Loxam?
Well, at Loxam, we had to set up a growth mindset within the team and push the team to work outside of their comfort zone. One of our companies, Rapid Access, as you may know, as you mentioned also, is a leader already in the powered access division, but that's not enough. We always have to be outside of our comfort zone. So our messaging was clear. Our team was able to get together and be intellectually generous with what they know. We have a lot of knowledge within the company. Bringing that knowledge to deliver on the message and to deliver on the goal is the key part. And I think within Loxam and within Rapid Access, we were able to deliver on that.
Okay, well, you and I have been in the region quite a long time. Okay, not long enough that I don't want to say how long at this stage, but from the point of view of understanding, can you explain to me how your leadership philosophy has helped tackle the unique challenges in the Middle East over your time here?
Like again, no need to mention years, but yes, it's been quite some years facing some of the most peculiar challenges of the Middle East market, which is cyclicality. The Middle East market presents great opportunities, but those great opportunities tend to come and go and pop up in different parts of the Middle East. Yeah. So the biggest thing that we had to tackle was being able to be agile, flexible, responsive, at the same time not have a large cost base to be present in every single country at a large setup. So basically, the ability to be resilient is important in the Middle East, but most importantly, ability to respond quickly to opportunities. We can give many examples, but again, if you look at how Qatar popped up, UAE keeps popping up, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Saudi, and you have to be able to be at that right time and for these opportunities, and then move on to the next one.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But do you believe on your journey that you were like a born leader, or did you develop your leadership abilities over time?
Yeah, I think some of the traits are innate, like wanting to take the responsibility, wanting to be in the limelight, wanting to be accountable. That's innate. Some people want to do that, but I think what hones in that leadership skill is experience. The more you get through cycles, it's down cycle, up cycle. Down cycles teaches you a lot more than an up cycle, actually. Yeah. And the more you get into those cycles and the more experience you have, there are two traits that come in, which are the vision and the planning. I mean, you can want to be a leader, so that's innate, but really the learning is vision and planning can only come from in-depth experience, some scars, some battle wounds, and some learnings.
No, I agreed. I couldn't agree more. And like on this journey, like how has this leadership journey shaped Loxam's presence in the Middle East?
Um, Frank, I think Loxam and Rapid Access, namely, has enjoyed a leadership position, but again, the markets are evolving, the dynamics keep changing, competitive landscape keeps changing. So basically, there's two things. One is ability to be flexible and agile, as we mentioned earlier. We needed to get better at this, get better at responding quickly. But more importantly, the part that I thought I'm bringing into Loxam is the cultural match between what the European-owned company's vision is and what the local culture and the local norms are. And that has been a ever-challenging balance always because the expectations are different. And then us, you and me, being here for such a long time, we know what the market wants. We know what the culture dictates. But then sending that message cannot be always easy to corporates and to shareholders.
I agree. It's the reality on the ground versus the perceived expectations, right? But
Absolutely.
what particular obstacles did you encounter while adapting this style over the years?
Yeah, Frank, it's not just with Loxam, but with many previous employers that the biggest obstacle was competing for growth capital. We want money, we want to invest, we want to grow. We know the Middle East, we love our opportunities, and we know how to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Sending that message across when you're competing against capital for Germany or for Canada, they
Mm-hmm.
have a different dynamic. Maybe their payment cycle is better. Maybe their stability and their geopolitical macros are different. So competing against capital allocated for other regions has always been a challenge. I haven't say I've mastered that. I'm still working on this, something I'm still learning how to do.
I think it's something that resonates quite a lot across the members of the network. I hear this quite often as well, which is a challenge, but also a learning both here in the region, but also to the HQs on how business works here at a very, very different pace as well to, let's say, different parts of the world to not be specific. But what is the most valuable career advice? From everything you've said so far, there's a lot of advice there, Waleed. So what's the most valuable career advice you've received and how has it impacted your leadership?
Like over 30 years of work, you receive a lot of advice, especially if you're an open listener. You receive a lot of advice. I think the one that stuck the most with me as I became more open to senior roles was taking bets on people's and ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously, once you take a bet on an idea or on a person within your team, there's the next part, which is you have to empower and resource that idea or that person to succeed. You have to see it through. But I think that is what stuck out the most with me.
That's an excellent answer. I love it. But does the modern leader have like a great responsibility to not only create a positive culture like you touched upon for their team, but also to make a positive impact on society?
Yes, look, again, we cannot be two-faced in our approach. So I cannot be telling my corporate team or my team directly one message and in my personal life living the total opposite. I'll give you a small anecdotal example. If I tell everyone, or if our culture within the company is to reverse park our car, I know it's too simplistic, but it's telling. I can't go to the mall and then not reverse park my car.
Yeah.
You have to be consistent with that. And that takes you to the next level, which is what are the true learnings and are you true to your beliefs? Because that immediately takes it to your social life. Now, within Loxam, we do a lot of initiatives that propagate beyond just the work. So we are a great place to work. We're very happy that we've been voted as a great place to work for the past maybe 6 years. And now we just got it now. So we just scored a great improvement.
But
Very proud of that. But also, part of our responsibility is to look at the circular economy side of things. We work with machines that either have batteries that deplete, either have tires that needs to be recycled, and we do initiatives that have actually crossed the border of our own company, and some of our competitors are looking at, some of our customers are looking at that. And to me, this is a success because I'm bringing some circular economy initiatives into the market itself.
no, it's great to hear that the Loxam are doing that in the local community. It's part of that positive impact in society, Wally, which is really, really good to hear. But one more question, I'm just mindful of our time as well, before we kind of shift into our rapid fire round is like, can you for you, describe a major challenge you faced as a leader in the Middle East and how you resolved it.
Okay, well, one of the great learnings I see from my EMIR meetings is that everyone is facing the same challenge I am, which is good to know, which is the volatility. Our last meeting last week, you yourself were talking about the geopolitical volatility, the incidents that could happen. And I add to that some macroeconomic volatilities, the oil price and all this. We are in a volatile market. I mean, if you look at the European market, they would have trends from 15 years ago, and they can safely predict what the next 2, 3 years are going to look like. You cannot do this in the Middle East.
This
So
is,
I think
this is the variation between like developed economies and developing
economies, absolutely. And we are a developing economy. Okay, different scales, different countries we work in. But I mean, again, to your point, we are a developing economy here, and we are very volatile. We need to be opportunistic in the right term, not in the wrong term of it, in understanding where the opportunity is and getting ready, teeing our team up, teeing our resources up to be ready to tackle that opportunity. And again, resilience is another thing.
Yeah.
We've seen countries in our region that had to go through severe down cycles. Loxam, I can proudly say that Loxam, during the past 2 years, we decided not to exit, not to take a deep cut, but to be resilient, see it through, because we believe the opportunity will come again.
Exactly. But like, how do you manage this, Waleed? And I just know from speaking to all of our different members, all the CEOs in the region, that like, how do you manage this? Because it's a common challenge faced by everyone, especially one of the points you mentioned earlier was around cyclicality, right? The change over time. How are you managing that, if you don't mind me asking?
When I know exactly, I'll let you know, but I'm trying at least. But the best thing we have been able to peg ourselves against is what is our cost base looking like given the forecast. So we try to minimize our cost base. We apply a hub and spoke model with minimum infrastructure that allows us better reactivity to the opportunities. But again, you cannot overdo that because our customers have an expectation. They need to see you on site when they need you. So that balance, I think, is key.
Exactly. No, it's an excellent point as well. And like this conversation is excellent. I feel I could stay here chatting with you all day. There's a lot of learnings and knowledge that you've shared with us there. I love the questions and your answers, and I'm going to reflect a lot on this after I've had a chance to sit down and process everything you said. You've given genuinely great food for thought there. So, Waleed, look, thank you for your time and thank you for being on Successful Perspectives. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much.